Isn't that Eli Roth's wife right
Okay,
there?
yes, we got to talk about this. His Italian wife in this film is
Ah,
played
damn.
by Lorenza Izzo, who is, I believe, Chilean. Eli Roth is, other than Tarantino, the other director I've kind of clowned on our podcast repeatedly, and he deserves it a lot more than Tarantino does. I'll be upfront about that. I really don't think Eli Roth. He's actually not a terrible director, but he's an awful writer. Tarantino at least is a great writer. Not to mention he's a good director too. But Eli Roth is, I mean, he's behind the Hostel movies. He's made a couple like half decent movies, but he clearly had like some kind of friendship or working relationship with Tarantino, because when Hostel first came out, I remember, because I was too young to see Hostel or Saw in the theaters when those came out, but how I kind of distinguished them. Saw, when it was coming out, Saw was the movie with the puppet, with the game over, with the reverse bear trap. Like, you kind of had images from Saw that stuck out. Hostel, I don't think they showed a whole lot of images in the trailer, probably because they couldn't, because that movie's insanely violent. But the big thing was from producer Quentin Tarantino. And that was probably the first time I had really heard the name Quentin Tarantino. Because we're talking, that comes out in 2005, so I'm 12 or 13 when that movie comes out. Then Eli Roth, years later, first of all, Tarantino might have had something to do with Cabin Fever as well. That's Eli Roth's first movie. I don't know, though. But then Eli Roth appears in Inglourious Bastards. I believe he plays the bear Jew.
He does,
the guy with
yep.
the baseball bat.
Yep.
Anyways, I am suspecting, I've never heard anything about this, but I suspect there was a rift at some point between Tarantino and Eli Roth. And I think it revolved... I have a feeling it revolved around Lorenza Izzo, this woman, because she shows up in this Tarantino movie, which has nothing to do with Eli Roth. Eli Roth does not have a cameo here. He does not play Steve McQueen or John Wayne or anybody like that. I don't think John Wayne would have been at the Playboy Mansion, but they could have thrown him in somewhere else. You could have had Eli Roth as Dean Martin in the the Sharon Tate movie.
Yeah.
It would have been a little weird, but whatever. But Eli Roth and Lorenza Izzo got divorced around this time, I want to say. so it's my working conspiracy theory that Tarantino basically, who I've learned looking at this book dedication, that I've learned he's married. I didn't know that, but I have a feeling, I have no real reason to believe this, but I'm going to go with it anyways and say that Tarantino ruined Eli Roth's marriage.
Yeah, you're saying that.
Well, let me
last
first of
time,
all
huh?
let me confirm that Eli Roth is divorced, because I could be wrong about that. Because sometimes you hear about a divorce and then it doesn't happen. Because that was the case with, like, I remember years ago, it was like, oh, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith are getting divorced, and then it's like that was like 6 years ago. They're still married, so.
Yeah,
They
just have a
divorced
really
in
weird open relationship.
2019. Guess what year this movie came out?
Weird. Was it 2019?
Yes.